Welcome, everyone. Oh, I think, wait, I think the lights are a little off. Let's turn everything on. What's up, everyone? Let me just turn on all the lights. Apparently, they're not all on. And also, what happens when you have a limited space. But that's okay. We're going to make the best of it. There we go. I think everybody can hear me. What's up, Nomi Cat? What else are we missing here? We are missing switching the camera. Beautiful. Okay, let me switch it back up. Trying to juggle a million things at once, and fortunately, this means that I have less like Olympic seconds to figure these things out before I come on. So apologies for all of that. But we are here. What's up, everyone? Welcome, Simulation Talk 289. Oh, one last thing. I think this should be sufficient for what we need. Oh man, it's still a little low, isn't it? Hold on. Better. All right, it's gonna have to do for now. I can't deal with this anymore. I'll set it up later. How are everybody doing tonight? Welcome, Simulation Talk 289. Only took us 3 minutes to get ready. That's all good. Doing great, Guru. Thank you so much for sharing the information. Inky's in the house. Sofa King. Joshua. Chris Harvard is here. Good people. Ken. Awesome. Okay. Good to see everyone. Well, okay. It's going to have to reset. Let's see what we can dive into today. I'm going to just open a group. I think it's a good idea. And if you want to follow on Twitch, it'll be LaserX83. That will be our address there. If you want to come help the channel, be very, you'll be very welcomed. Let me start the group on Discord. just in case people want to come on. There it is. And I think you guys can hear it also, right? How is everybody's feeling today? Thank you for being honest, Terry. Appreciate that. But yeah, all the likes, very helpful. So if you want to help the channel, click the like button. Agrogressor. That's a really good handle. It's a very funny handle. Okay, let's see what we can conjure today. What we can talk about. Yesterday we talked about narrative. Let's see what we can talk about today. Anybody has particular subjects they want to raise or talk about? Let's see if we can get to some subjects that we didn't touch on that much or that recently, because I feel like we kind of, it's okay. I mean, I'm here to talk about things that people care about, but also I have my own point of view, and it would be nice to talk about things that we don't talk about on a regular basis. Doing good, Chris? Good to have you here. How are you doing, brother? Miller, how are you doing? Could try and get on the call, but waiting on my phone. What do you mean waiting on your phone? If you whatever it is that you're using to watch YouTube, you can also do it on Discord. That means you can join. What's up, Lala? Shalom, shalom. Elif. Thermophysics intrigued me. Do you know anything about that? From what I've read, it's not really a thing. What part of it intrigues you? Or maybe you mean something else than what I mean. I think what people mean by, let's say if we talk about the same thing, thermophysics. You mean thermal physics? Because at least the term that you just brought up sounds... Oh, thermophysics, yeah. Refers to a study of thermal and transport properties of planetary materials. So maybe I'm thinking about something else. Integrating thermodynamics with geophysics. Is that what you're talking about? Refers to a study of thermal and transport properties of planetary materials, integrating thermodynamics with geophysics and planetary science through observation of and computer modeling, particularly for characterizing surfaces and subsurfaces, temperatures, and thermal inertia on planets like Mars. In a broader sense, thermophysics can also be used to describe the field of thermal physics, which combines thermodynamics, statistical mechanics, and the kinetic theory of gases. Is that what you're referring to? Sorry to hear that, Miller. Good to hear your head is above the water. And the guy who's proposing it is just looking for something that is fast enough to exchange information. Wait. You're answering Ken about fear of the molecule, but then you're saying yeah, and the guy... So these are two separate sentences, Sofa King? Are you combining them? You're answering Ken, and also you're saying yeah, and the guy who's proposing it is just looking for something that is fast enough to exchange information. Not, it's a little vague. If you can clarify, was this referring to me? There is some sense of trepidation with the molecule. I know it's pretty common. People experience it pretty commonly. So you're definitely not alone there. What's up, Halloween? Thank you so much for the gifts. Alex is in the house. How are you doing? Johnny. Yeah, okay. Cool. Yeah, so I guess I don't know enough about it. I'm not even sure they're referring to the same thing, but let's find out. Oh, Carter is in the house. I don't know if he can join or not, but I'll of course, obviously invite him to speak if he wants to. How you doing, brother? Never Tools is in the house. Okay. Thanks for the love, my friend. Deeply appreciated. Let's see if we have any questions that are more about particular things. Maybe something we can dive into from more of a technical standpoint. What up, Drasko? Good to have you, brother. It was a combination of buddy and brother. You like it, buddy? Come join the Discord group. We can always chat about some stuff. It seems that today there's not too many questions anyway. Thank you so much, what, Quantum? Yeah, come to Discord. Def001 saying he has a cool topic. Can't wait. Enjoying a beautiful fire. Where's this? Are you at Burning Man? We'll try putting on some relaxing, calming music and meditate beforehand. I was nervous the first time, but Ebony helped me through it and teaching me that it helped me. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. How are you, brother? Definitely, you want to do some prep. There's no question about that. That's a pretty common thing, you know? We think here with the control panel backyard. I'm confused. The backyard, everybody today are like, either I'm too slow today, which is very possible, but like comments today are very confusing to me. Halloween is saying, have you tinkered with the control panel and then backyard? I mean, in the backyard, or what do you mean? Oh wow, I didn't know that power off. You went 5 years before I got you back into it. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. Nico, how are you, brother? So if you guys are on, I can't know. I'm glad to see people coming on Discord. But if you want to chat, just raise your hand and I will bring you up. Yeah, it does present some challenges, Dresco, but not unsurmountable ones or insurmountable ones. You're not on our Discord, brother. I think you were on there before. Guru, can you throw in the Discord link? Just Code of Reality. COR. You can find the link in the YouTube in the main YouTube page. You'll see it in the social links. The third one from the top. Oh, fire in your backyard. I was wondering if you interacted with the control panel. You think about the console? Is that what you mean? Halloween? This is the live channel, but I also have an open stage on the Code of Reality on Core on Discord, which you can actually talk audio. You spoke with me there before, so. Oh, Deft wants to come on. See if we can hear him properly. I think you're muted. It's in music. Oh. Output should be MacBook speaker. Input should be, there you go. Okay. I think now it should be fine. I don't know why you're muted, Def, there one. Let's see. Indeed, brother. I just now seeing the comments, Carter. I didn't see it before. Wait, you can hear Def? I can't hear him. So I can't hear him. Hold on. Dresco, are you speaking? Hold on.
I'm connected. I'm not speaking though.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Awesome. How you doing, man? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. Yeah,
Perfect.
YouTube is a little bit delayed, so I'm just on Discord.
Oh yeah, so just lower the volume on YouTube if you are on both. Let me just, because there's two different. Okay, there you go. That's perfectly fine. And then I'm gonna make sure that the output is Mac. Okay, can everybody on YouTube hear Dresco? Just making sure. I think yes. How you doing, brother? And Pakistani pilot, how are you? Yeah, the console. Well, I mean, I don't know, brother. I mean, there's a lot going on. Oh my god, this thing. Hold on. What a mess. I don't know. This thing is just like not strong enough or something. Like this magnet sucks. Like it barely. Why am I supposed to peel something here? Let me see. My phone keeps falling on my laptop. It's very annoying. Okay, hold on. Let's do this. Put it a little further away for safety. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's the last time you joined, brother. So, I mean, there's a lot happening. I think just I would say just anything has to do with that stuff, guys. Just I would say just wait for the film. I'm not really talking about the console because there's not a lot of new information. So until I have new information, I don't have much to say about it. I'll be doing a lot of tests very soon, and I'm pretty sure it will. I'm sure it will. You know, it's interesting you saying that, Dresco. You said that Discord is choppy. The audio from me coming from me is choppy. I've been told this yesterday. I wonder if this is like a problem on my end, the way that either my system or Discord receives information, because Discord is the only place where this happens. So I am breaking up on Discord. This is so annoying, man. Hold on, input. Let me do this. You guys tell me if it sounds better without the mic on Discord. Hold on. So does this sound better on Discord now that you hear me now?
Yeah, man, that's great.
Yeah, so there's some issue with the mic and Discord. It's very annoying.
It sounded like it was some setting where it kind of like as soon as you stop talking, it mutes everything else because it seemed like there was a gate, like literally. Well, actually, I don't think that was it because it was cutting off in the middle of you talking. So yeah. I don't know.
Oh, so it's like cutting me in the middle? Weird. Okay.
Yeah, it was just every 2 seconds it's just lagging, but whatever you did now, fix it. So
Awesome. Yeah, I just switched at least on Discord. I switched basically so the audio will come from the computer directly.
How are you, man?
I'm good, doing good, man. Feeling very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I'm sure you talked about this. So I'm sorry if I'm asking questions that for 100th time that you heard before. But was there any kind of interesting things to report in terms of the baby when it comes to everything we always talk about, like anything apart the usual that parents talk about?
You mean just my experience of going through? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a great question. I there's definitely like very psychedelic components to it. It's kind of like you understand the price for life. There's you kind of understand the gravity of the responsibility and also kind of like the seriousness of the situation, as beautiful as it is. and also like it's very carnal. Like there's something very carnal. We did a home birth, so we experienced the full thing. There's no shortcuts, and there you kind of see really kind of like what is, as we always say, is what is the price of life. And it's interesting. I'm in the habit of now saying I'm surprised there's people at all. This is kind of crazy. And man, thank goodness, man, for modern medicine. Seriously, like to anybody who thinks that the old days were good, man, let me tell you, there's no wonder that there used to be the mortality rate for during labor was so enormous. It's like it's crazy. But I'm
Did you feel? How did you feel physically during the whole situation?
physically.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm the one that went through the majority of the
No,
thing.
but that's what I'm asking because it's interesting to know what you connected with, just energetically. Like, did you feel, not like you must have felt a lot more than usual? That's what I'm curious. Obviously, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, no, it's these are all the right questions. It's very sobering, and also it's sobering in every way. And like it's a portal. Like you see a being coming through a portal. Like they're coming into a new world, and they're coming from somewhere, and you can feel it. Like they really are coming from somewhere, and that's because they're coming into flesh. They have to come through some flesh, and that process is very fleshy. That's the essence of that process. It was surreal because we did like home birth, water birth, and the midwife she gently pushed our daughter into my wife's view as she came out. So like she was facing down, and literally she came out and she gently pushed her, and she floated into my wife's view and opened her eyes. Like imagine, it's just like you don't get that in a hospital for sure. They take them away, they do all kinds of processes. I mean, I completely understand most people want to do it in a hospital and everything, but that is, man, I have a whole new respect for women.
there must be a high level of trauma being born in a hospital that you just don't remember, but it's embedded subconsciously. Just the fact.
I think the trauma is there either way. I think it's a traumatic event. You were born through trauma. Like it's just it's like there's no way around that. You can say, well, if you numb yourself to the experience, you can experience less of it. I don't know. Like I do think we're happy we did it this way, but the next one might be in a hospital. We'll see. So it's like even though my sister said that she said it to my wife. She said, "Don't worry, the body has a perfect way to give you this like temporary insanity that you just forget that you want another one, and it's just you. But then again, I also know that the following ones are easier for the woman. All I could do is just be there and support. But again, like I said, I have a completely different appreciation of women now and what they actually have to go through and what they have to do. It's not, yeah, it's not a walk in the park, man. It's yeah, it's a serious matter. And a lot of fathers before that told me, all kinds of things. They're like, don't look, you're gonna faint, things like this. And I get it. Like I'm sure that's a very viable possibility, but I luckily I didn't, and I thought it was divine. Like I thought it was the most interesting thing I've ever experienced. But yeah, it's like I think you only experience this level of seriousness in war and in labor. Like it's up there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the foundational, like it's as close as you can get to the border between this dimension and the other, right? So it's like, like what's
Yeah, it really is like that. It something is transpiring there that is more than just a physical event.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
The other beautiful thing I imagine must be that I don't know who I was just listening to. I think it was Adi Ashante. I was listening to his book on just like, awakening and those types of things. And he was talking about, the usual things around like most ideas just not being real, most thoughts not being like most emotions not being real because they're based on thought. There are a couple of like pure emotions, like that are just beyond thought or before thought, and I imagine that must be like the connection with a child and birth. That's one of those like few pure emotions that
Yeah.
are not conditioning. It's just like what you're experiencing. So that must have been.
I take that point, and I would even say that whatever my ideas about it, probably is kind of, I guess, less evolved than the sages that kind of understood all these deep things. But I can't not have the impression that I do have, and I think that a little bit too much is made out of this hierarchical picture of the world. I think it's this, just to be clear, I'm not even saying it to you. Like I'm essentially saying right now that some of the stuff that the Buddha said is just simple. It's just nonsense. So it's like, to my mind, anything that it can be experienced is as fundamental as anything else. My intuition tells me that this idea of like, oh, there's real emotions, not real emotions. Come on, man. Like if somebody's experiencing it, that's real. So you can say there's more. There are more fundamental building blocks to these emotions. That's a legitimate move. But to say that they're not as real because I know that there's something more, like it just feels a little bit too.
I think the idea is more about realizing like a deeper truth beyond conditionings, because I can speak for myself where I had a certain emotional reaction to a certain idea and a story, and then after certain experience and realizations, that emotion just doesn't happen anymore because of those realizations. So the idea is not that any emotion is like less hurtful or better than others. It's just that a lot of them are based on ideas and stories that we hold in our mind. So there is a difference to how real it is. But I agree with you, of course. Everything you experience.
Yeah, I think it's more like I of course I agree that there's gradation to reality, but I'm very much on the side of, even if you want to think of it in terms of emergent properties, there are emergent properties that can become fundamental the second they arise. It's almost like you're talking about the depths in the ocean. So you can say, well, if you get to this deeper depth, then the amount of pressure you're going to feel there, the pressure you're feeling now is going to feel like child's play in comparison. Okay, well, but right now, that's the pressure you experience. It's very clear to me because I have a good friend right now who's really struggling. He's struggling with addiction, right? And he's very much stuck in this kind of like very primitive mindset because he's stuck in this loop where and then I find myself that my mind kind of makes this move sometimes where I go like, oh man, if you could only see that actually none of this even matters and all this stuff. But then I think, wait a second, but that's what he's experiencing right now. Who is anyone to say, to nullify his experience right now and say, oh no, if you only knew more, this wouldn't hurt right now? But it does. It does now. Like what kind of, you know what I mean? Like in this instance, that person suffers in this way. So there's something very condescending about this. Like, well, if you only knew more. And I think this is also why, like, the truth is that my resistance is more to kind of like the ideation around what the Buddha, what people say about it, because the Buddha never really preached anything. He just taught you the technique. He just showed you how to meditate so you can find for yourself. But he knew that words are empty, and there's no idea you can communicate that will be empty. And I know you and I are probably on the same page, but I just find that at best incomplete, at worst just wrong. Like, it's just not correct. That people have.
I'm more. It's not even. I don't even think I'm on a particular page. It's just a continuous kind of like exploration and evolving and hearing other people's thoughts. And I know that it's constantly changing for me too, right? So it's just interesting to hear.
Mm-hmm.
How like do you look? I had a moment again, like literally a day ago, where I was planning and thinking on doing something, like taking a certain direction with whatever work, business, create stuff, and and an idea came, or like more of an intuitive feeling in the body that I actually didn't want to do that. And when I realized that, it's like I just felt amazing, right? It's like the feeling and the reality hit me in the body that was not the story in the mind, right? And there's something like very real to that. It's always like, oh my god, this is our, my body, my intuition is telling me what was right all along.
There's definitely more stripped away. I agree. There's definitely more stripped away versions of experience that are closer to what in fact is going on. That I agree with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can occupy those, and it's actually easier to maneuver through those because it's clear what you should do next, and everybody should aspire to get there. But while somebody stubbing their toe, telling them that it's fake doesn't help.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was curious in the point of intuition and stuff. How are you like on your journey with the code of reality? And I'm sure you have a bunch of like fairly, well, I'm not sure, but I imagine you have there's a lot happening there. So there's a direction and a strategy and a plan and a timeline and your ideas of what to do next. Are you experiencing kind of like shifts in direction based on intuition, or like is there any, or is it pure like total flow and it's just like naturally all opening up to the right
Yeah, otherwise I will lose my mind. The scale of it is just so enormous that if like there's very little that we say on these things until they come to fruition openly because it's pointless. But there's a lot going on, and yes, there is some strategy, but the truth is that even that I'm following through intuitive processes. It's what makes sense to me in the moment. It's everything that life prepared me to be, and I am just following what feels the most correct thing in the next moment, and I'm trying to stay the most fair to the most amount of people. And somewhere you have to draw boundaries, but that's really all I can do. So as long as I go to sleep at night and I know I did my absolute best to aim for the greater good of all and do all of that stuff for real, I actually don't really care that much all the noise around it, like what people say, and like it doesn't matter because if I know I did my best, I don't need to convince anyone of anything. It's I did as much as I possibly could, right? And I think that that's true across the board. I think if we aim this way, it's a lot easier to live with yourself, to sleep at night, and really, I think the outcomes would eventually be also much better than they would have if you would be aiming for selfish, selfish aims, and also it feels better. But yeah, there's a lot of evolution happening all the time, and sometimes it's kind of hard to know what emphasis I should put on what. Yesterday I talked a little bit about narratives and how they're not just strings of facts, but they're or propositions. They are emphases. It's how you emphasize things, and then the context you put things in. That's what creates the narrative, and that's the art that I'm trying to play to become a better artist at. Which is, can I emphasize the right things at the right time that will help the most people? What'd you say?
Yeah, I think you're great at that just from your podcasts and discussions. It's like it's very coherent and like it seems like you pay attention to how to segregate and block out certain concepts and ideas and how to present them. That's what's enjoyable to listen to, I think.
I appreciate it, man.
Is there like a vision that you have, that forming of like what's going to happen or what you want to happen, or are you totally like just in the moment doing stuff?
My wildest vision is that we all unify and we all open the gates together.
What does that mean?
That there's a next level, and in order to get to that level, we all have to unify, come together, bring our talents, work in accordance with the vision and the unified intuition, and then something unlocks.
How do you think that happens? Do you think that's mainly like inner kind of frequency evolving?
No. It's a combination of what the inner brings to the outer. So the way that I envision it is that the physical world will respond in the proper way the second the conditions internally for all humans are proper, and then something changes outside. Literally, the external world opens a new possibility, and then we can do something we couldn't do before, and it will manifest as a regular progression of things. Like something would happen along the lines of all of a sudden something would click and then everybody go like, collectively. And all of a sudden, that's the instance where that possibility becomes available. But it will become available through a natural flow of things. So all of a sudden, everybody would have an insight that gives rise to some kind of a technology that could not have come before everybody would have this insight. But everybody couldn't have had this insight unless they would also occupy the right state of being in the same instance. That's the thing that opens the gates to that idea that now can manifest into the world through us. We can build it, we can make it, and it will open whatever that is. That's my kind of wildest vision.
So that's well said. Do you think those higher levels, though, will still have their own or need to have their own yin yang, dark light battle? Because it seems it's like a more microbiome to the cosmos. It's like literally in everything. So that higher level you're describing with more harmony, doesn't that kind of almost like are you imagining that's what I wonder. It's like I wonder how many of these ideas are human ideas where there's like less bad stuff, but it seems that everything is kind of like constantly balancing out, whatever the pattern might look like, whether it's bad for a longer time or good for a longer time, like what do you think about that?
I think those are the most fundamental forces that exist. It's not human at all. I think the yin and the yang are the most fundamental forces that exist. You can call them the light and the dark. You could call them a feminine and masculine. You can call them whatever you want. But these polar opposites are the most fundamental thing that exists. There's not any less of it the more up the levels you go. And eventually, they're one and the same, I think. The what?
Sorry, I don't interrupt you. It's full of delay. So
no, you're not interrupting me. You're not interrupting me. What did you say?
So how like you envision the higher level that you're talking about, the more harmony and us coming together? Like what would the negative or
think about what you mean by harmony. Harmony, if you have a fully homogeneous something, it's not the same as harmony. It's just something that is homogeneous because it's just the same blob of something. That's not harmony. Harmony means you've harmonized things that are working in tandem, but they are separate things. So in order to have any harmony on higher levels, you at least need to have two things. Otherwise, harmony is not harmony; it's just the existence of this one thing, right? So the harmonizing happens because there's the differences between the dark and the light, and then that.
Sorry.
No, you don't need to apologize. You can keep talking over me. It's a normal way of communicating for me as well. What'd you say?
Well, I was saying the unifying that you talked about for your vision. Like, what would the balance there be with the negative side?
Well, that's a really good question. I think that the way we kind of like Carl Jung's idea of integrated the shadow, right? There's a healthy version of boundary creation. You can think of the dark as the boundary creator, the thing that closes cycles, ends them, creates boundaries, separates, right? And in order to have any structure at all, you must have some of these things. You must have walls to define what things are. And I know that people have this idea of just complete dissolution, complete, purity. And yeah, but that means that there's no walls of any kind and there's nothing that makes any difference whatsoever. It's just all like one blob again. So there's a healthy version of the right amount of walls, but not too many walls. Like too much rigidity, too many walls, too rigid, nothing happens. But also too much open-endedness. Nothing ever closes. Nothing ever becomes a thing. Nothing ever occurs. Also, nothing happens. In order for anything to actually occur, you have to have a perfect combination of these two. You have to have the right amount of closing cycles so you can create structures, and these structures define the next iteration of the next structures. In order for the next iteration of the next structure to arise, you have to allow for the open-ended system, the light, to open it again so it keeps unfolding to the next iteration. So when you have the right amount of both of them integrated perfectly, you have the perfect creation machine, or whatever you want to call it. People don't like the word machine, but just the perfect creation entity, right? That can doesn't get attached to things, but can create more and more and more beautiful things. And that's how I see a civilization that is mature and understands itself and the world that it is in, and it now gets to flourish through the balance of these two forces within it. And for example, the tools that we can create with AIs, they're incredible and infinite, but the fear of it might actually be the demise. The irony is that the fear of it might actually be the one that will bring the final blow that will end us. But if you don't get attached, but just allow it to unfold, just like all the other extensions of us that we're creating, you get to ride the wave into a new territory that you've never seen before. But you have to let go and ride the wave. Like you have to trust it, and at the same time discover what it is as it comes. That it requires a lot of internal work to be able to do that. And some people are better at this than others in different domains, and that's hopefully we can teach each other to do this across domains. I think what is being slowly revealed to us is that our own inadequacies is the thing that is always the problem. It's not something external that will come and hunt us down. It's the fact that we seem to have a lot of silly ideas. And these silly ideas are always based on incomplete knowledge, and they're always based on fear. I think that as much as we would like certain things to be true, in order to know what they really are and what really is true, it requires a certain kind of patience that a lot of us don't have. People just want to immediately know. They're like, "Oh no, I don't care. Like I'll settle for the closest thing to what I think it might be true, just because I don't want to live with the uncertainty of the thing." Okay, well then you don't actually get to know, because you're impatient. You're not watching. You're not paying attention. You overlaying what you want on top of what it really is. And the silliest of all ideas that me personally I think is when we say, "Well, what do you mean? It is what we say it is." No, it isn't. You have a version of it, but no, it isn't. It has an essence. If you listen and stop telling it what it is, then you might have a chance of discovering what it really is. And that's what I think ultimately opens the gates, if we actually pay attention. Right now, a lot of us are not paying attention. We just fill in the blank with whatever it is in all kinds of destructive ways. But I'm hopeful. I think that we will be able to do what needs to be done, and I think we will arrive. And by the way, Dafty, I didn't mean to just kind of bury you. If you want to just jump on, feel free. And I saw you come on. I see your mic is muted still. Carter said he could hear you. I couldn't hear you. At no point I could hear you, but I don't know if maybe he has an issue with the mic, or maybe. Can you hear him, Dresco? No.
Not yet.
No. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I have to say. There's a podcast that you just recorded. It was wonderful with what is it called? Man, I'm so terrible with names. I really should get better at this. I'm so bad with names. What was the name of the podcast? I just posted it in my story yesterday. Anyways, really lovely guys, and in it we kind of talked a little bit about AI and all this stuff and the potentials of it. And one of the points that came up is that, I think that actually the connection to the cell, the connection to the heart, the ability to not be too attached to things, all the stuff that the Eastern traditions are teaching. In other words, if your heart is full, if you don't have like pockets of relationships and attention that you need and all of that stuff, then all of a sudden you can allow your mind to play in ways that you could never do before. Because for the most part, the mind tries to just solve all the immediate problems. And if the immediate problems are that you're just, lonely or are not full or not connected, then that's the problem it's going to try and solve. But if your heart is full, now you get to solve the fun problems. Now you get to play. Now you get to really ride the wave. That now the tool is going to be doing what it's supposed to be doing. So I think the importance of the healing and all the stuff that a lot of people are going through is actually so we can survive in cyberspace. Because the second you enter a space in which you interact with meaning on enormous scales, and the temporal dimension just shrinks, like everything is like really fast, it's only overwhelming if you have the kind of mind that gets attached to every single thing, and then it's like you constantly get stuck. But if you just let go, now you get to fly through hyperspace and just like you can just go, right? There's actually no pain there. Yeah, and that's what I'm envisioning, kind of like the future being. And I know, wait, Nico is saying that he can hear him on Discord. What's going on with Discord, man? Nico,
Can you not hear Truckee?
No.
He's trying to talk, but
hold on.
I don't know.
Oh, he was on mute for some reason. I didn't mute him though. That is so weird. How you doing, man? Sorry about that.
I was like testing stuff.
Okay, cool.
That's working now?
And yeah, apparently you were on mute on my end, but I didn't mute you, so I don't know what's going on. Dude, Discord is so weird. There's so many weird options. Okay, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Earlier, you're talking about a whole different thing, and I hate to just like swap y'all's topic of shit like that.
No, you're good.
All right. So I think it was like the day before yesterday, possibly. Was messing around with the laser. So one, I was gonna share like an experience, and then I was also gonna ask some questions about diffractions.
Okay.
So I had it was shining through like 5 different meter setups, and it created I had to research what it was, that it was like an interferometer shape.
Interferometer shape?
Yeah, like Michael's.
Wait, I think, okay, hold on. I think that now Discord is doing to you what people told me that it was doing to me. It's cutting you off in the middle of your words. Are you talking through a mic?
Yes.
I think we need to mute everyone if not talking, because it feels like it's interference from maybe from us.
Okay, let's all mute ourselves and see if it helps.
Is it working?
It seems to be working, yeah.
So yeah, if you look up Michelson interferometer, it should show you a picture of what I'm talking about.
He's talking about the Michelson-Morley experiment that proved that the A-ether, that there was no A-ether.
Okay, I actually heard that the results of the experiment were pretty contentious.
It's highly controversial and it's been brought back to life.
Can you recapitulate the experiment in a nutshell, Nico?
So the experiment in a nutshell is that there is an ether. There is a weird substance that everything travels through. And so the idea was they had this table that was floating on Mercury. And the idea was they had an interferometer. So they had a laser that was pointing through different mirrors. And the idea was that if there's a direction of the ether, which they thought there was, as they rotate the table, which is floating on Mercury, the interferometry would change as a function of the angle the table was rotated. So what they found is that nothing changed. So as you rotated the angle, which meant that whatever the medium of space is it's isotropic. But there were some people that, I don't know if this is like a recent trend with like flat Earth or whatever, that have been resurrecting these old experiments and been trying to revive them. But I have heard from some scientists that certain museums have recreated this experiment so you can go and play with it. And it's really thought provoking, is what I heard. But I don't think there's an ether. It's supposedly it debunks the ether.
So the experiment debunked the ether?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's just proceed for simple. Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for summarizing it. I think I know what this is referring to, but I think in the context of what we're talking about, I'll let Dufty to just bring it up now that we know what we're looking at in our mind's eye. Go ahead, brother.
Alrighty. So when I was testing it, I had like kind of discovered this on my own, and then I looked up for any type of research around it, and I tried my best to describe it to the AI, but the version that I'm seeing on the internet and stuff is a still frame image that the laser produces, but the image that was being produced onto my wall it had that shape, but there were certain parts where it kind of looked like water drops hitting like slowly on a surface or something, and it was actually moving. And I have like an actual video clip of it moving on the wall.
Yeah, can you share it on either here or email?
Yeah. 1 second.
By the way, the podcast was called Close Encounter Club. Should be fun. They interviewed Melvin Bobson, and then Melvin connected me with them because they wanted to interview.
So the video that I have is like really like bad lighting, but you could clearly see where it's moving.
Okay. Are you sharing it here, or where are you sharing it?
Where should I share it?
You can either text it to me here, or you can email it to dangoprox@gmail.com. DANGOPROX @gmail.
Probably so share 2 images real quick of like the main thing, because it was reflecting in multiple different places.
Oh, so sorry, I forgot to unmute. Okay, so now that we're looking at the images, where are the droplets of water that you're talking about? Like the one, because I see. So what we're seeing, just so everybody clear on YouTube, we're seeing a light field from a laser, and so what are we? Explain to us, where are we seeing the droplets that you're talking about?
Where are we looking at this?
It's in the chat. So if you click on the core event chat on the upper right, you'll see like a chat.
Oh yeah. Sorry, it disconnected me for a second.
Sure. Do you see it, Dresco?
Yeah, I got it. Sorry, not even gonna. That's useful.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead, Dufty. Explain to us.
So, well, with the laser, it was just shining through like 5 different mirrors. I didn't have any smoke or anything. Nothing was moving, but when I looked it up, it says that the only way for it to do something like that is for it to move through either like air vibrations or something.
Yeah, so I don't know if you know, but lasers, when they're projected through some from up close and then they're blown up on the surface, they act like basically kind of like microscopes. So if you project a laser onto a drop of water, whatever is going to be seen on the wall, you're literally going to be able to see like microorganisms on the wall. So it is very possible that what you're seeing is disturbances that are happening very close to the source of the laser in the air, or something that is passing through.
Right. I was thinking it could have something to do with like the heat or something similar, but I just
You mean kind of like in Nico? What is it called? The effect of the heat that kind of looks like water in the desert. I forget the name of it.
Brownian motion.
Yeah, is that what you mean, Dufty?
it sort of did look like that, but it was just it moved really weird.
Do you have a video of this? Because these are still images.
Yeah, I know the Game of Life.
It was moving exactly like that on one side of the wall where it was reflecting, and then on the opposite side, it looked like either raindrops just dropping or similar to how smoke moves.
That's interesting. So again, do you have a short video of this? And also another question: were you under the influence, or you were just sober?
No, I wasn't under the influence, and my girlfriend had seen it. Right now, I'm trying to get this video to share over.
What sounds like a washing machine? You have a like on saying sounds like a washing machine. Oh, maybe it's two other comments. See geometrical patterns in the sky when I stare at the fixed point. Yep, that's
at first glance, it sounds like what Danny was referring to, which is like a light scattering, especially if it's not like ultra pure water, or if there's some type of like interface effect between the water and whatever the surface is. But yeah, I would love to see it.
Yeah, I would love to say there's just like from a technical standpoint, Dufty, you whatever. So if I don't know what I'm not even sure that you're even putting a proposition forth. I think you're just kind of like sharing, and I appreciate that. But if we are postulating that maybe what we're seeing is some kind of an effect of space-time or ether or things like this, I don't think anybody, even proponents of the ether, I don't think anybody thinks that these kind of effects you're going to be able to see with your naked eye, because they're just way too small. Like whatever we see on the scale that you're describing sounds like it's more, pretty macro scale. Like it's somewhere in the air or molecule size, which is pretty large for the thing we're postulating.
Right. Give me 1 second to
Sure.
try and get this video up.
No problem.
Did y'all get those two pictures
Ye-
in the chat?
Yeah, I can see them. Let me see if I can also put them in the. Hold on. 9991. And then. Wait, why is it not allowing me to just download it? Okay, here you go. 9992. Okay. Now let me see if I can. I can't put image. Dude, YouTube is so limited. It's crazy. I can't even put images in there. Unfortunately, if anybody on YouTube wants to see it, you're gonna have to come to Discord. Oh, you can ask the question now, Dress. Yeah. Go ahead, Dufty.
I'm gonna just mute this while I'm looking.
Sure. And then that's your perfect opportunity to ask a question, Drasco. Go ahead, brother. Hey, Ebony.
I mean, this is totally going back to your discussion on like us unifying and stuff. So I don't know if it's okay to like switch back while you guys are in the middle of this. I can wait.
No. We're kind of going back and forth on everything. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna love what you said. I'm excited to like look at this video again and cut that piece out. So the last thing you were saying is how one of the key components would be this kind of like unwavering faith or surrender, or like being as close to the flow as possible, which is the same thing we talk about in the spiritual journey, and that seems to be like the toughest the toughest challenge in or I don't know if I should say the toughest challenge, but it's like that seems to be a very difficult thing for people to achieve or feel or live in. It's like for a lot, you talked about this before, where it doesn't necessarily mean you have to go through a difficulty, but usually it's like extreme difficulties that push people to that point of surrender. So it's like when you look at the overall society, and it's not even, I don't mean to be like pessimistic or optimistic, it's not about that, like anything can happen, but when you look at society in general and what it means to reach that level of surrender, even just the starting point, it's like, yeah, how do you see that process happening, basically, where it's mass adoption with surrender?
I don't know, man. I wish I would. But the closest descriptor to it that really gets close to what it really is the famous phrase from Buddhism, which is that you have to die before you die. So basically, you have to completely detach from any need for anything else to happen, and then you get everything. So if you're okay with dying right now, then everything else follows. You become invincible. You become, and not in a, we're not talking about like in a deranged kind of way. We're talking about in a true surrender to what in fact is and is about to unfold. And it is much closer to a flow state than to a controlling state. There is definitely, you get to play a role. This is what I said in my conversation with the example that came to me when I was talking to David Rugg was, it's almost like, you're in this like enormous arena where a famous singer is singing, and then he brought you on stage as one of these like tribute moments where he let you sing some of the song with him. And if you understand your role on stage at that instance, is that what you understand is that you're not the show, but you were brought on stage to participate in the show. So then your job is to not constantly try and grab the mic and sing what you want to sing, but it's to wait for the right moment and just enjoy being up there. But the moment will come where the singer will go and hand you the mic. That's your time to shine. And life are filled with these moments, but we never notice them because we're so busy with trying to grab the mic. It's like, me now. And that's how you lose the actual magic that is unfolding all the time. So ultimately, you have to let go of the need to grab the mic and just wait for the moment where it's clearly life is giving you the mic. And all the moments until then, it's kind of like a preparation for that moment, the way that I see it. And if you can live in that experience, then everything is a bonus. Everything is wonderful. Everything is amazing. All the challenges are just teachings that bring you closer to being able to do that thing that you were brought here to do. And if everybody can have that perception, then there you have it. How do you encourage that? I don't know. You live it, I guess.
Well, that's kind of my question. That it seems that you. Oh, I can't hear you.
No. I just muted myself so we don't have the interference thing.
But that's kind of my question. That to get to that point, it seems that it's difficulties and a lot of like difficulties that push you to they have to push you to the end of to that point where you actually surrender. It's like a lot of people want that. That's obvious, right? It's like we see these, it's a whole industry of these products because everybody wants that. But to get there, it's like you can't want it. You have to naturally go through a series of events, and depending on your personality and wiring, it can happen at a certain point. But it seems that for a lot of people, it's like extreme difficulty that pushes you to that. It's very, I'm sure, I'm not sure, but do you, when you think about people that in a range that are in a kind of vicinity somewhat on that level, are most of them get there through wanting it and method without pain? There's
a really obscure conversation. I'm going to do a shameless promotion. It's actually a pretty obscure conversation on my channel with Anatoly Yakorev. If you guys go to Dango Thoughts on YouTube, just search for Anatoly Yakorev. I think it's with a V at the end, but there are no other Anatoly, so there's only one Anatoly. So if you find an Anatoly, that's the conversation. And in it, he doesn't really define himself that much. Yeah, Yakorev with a V. He doesn't really define himself as any particular thing in the spiritual domain, but he has this power where he essentially describes it as he aligns your karma. He removes your karma completely. And they said, I mean, what do you mean? Like, that's kind of crazy. He's like, first of all, how can anybody do that for you? And then I sat in front of him, and we had a lot of conversations. I was visiting. Well, I'm not going to say where he is because I think he was hiding after what's going on in Russia. But anyways, wherever it was, we spoke a few times. We met a few times, and when you sit in front of him, there's no question that he has this ability that I don't know if he's doing it on purpose or it just happens in his presence, but you become laser focused. You become just like, you know exactly what needs to happen next. All your goals are clear. There's definitely like a very, very clear path in front of you, right? And he's not doing anything special. He says that he just speaks with this particular kind of tone and frequency that your brain just tunes to it, and it just becomes doing that. And if you listen to the conversation, you'll see that it starts happening to you too. The reason I'm mentioning it is because what you just asked, right? He said that in people in the spiritual pursuit, they have this guru delusion sometimes, where what they do is that they think, oh, well, I'm going to detach myself from any need to ever do anything, and that's how I'm going to get there. But the truth is that you actually have to leave blood and sweat on the table first, because you have to become somebody to know that it doesn't matter. You actually don't get the shortcut just by because you have to check for yourself. People say it, but it's only when you go and check yourself is when you truly know it. You can believe people, but if you're not willing to go the extra effort, the extra mile, you're never going to know it by yourself. And by the way, even the people who do go down the path of just like dropping out of the map and going to become a monk, well, I challenge anybody here to become a monk to see how easy that is. That is the hardest of all of them. You truly you have to let go of everything, right? That is the hardest undertaking. So actually the easier path is to really try hard. And then when you get to the top, whatever it is, or to some level of success, you all of a sudden realize, oh, it's not here. Then you start to understand. Then you go, okay, interesting. I see it's really not there. So you don't have any doubt, because if you've never achieved it, if you just have the dream of that, having the nice cars, having nice girls, having whatever it is that you dream about, right? Like material things, people can tell you all day long, the people who already made it, listen, kid, it doesn't give you happiness, don't even worry about it. It doesn't bring you any of the stuff that you think it brings you. That's not helping, because even if that kid believes that adult when they say it to them, and of course they're right, but even if they're always going to be that question mark, but did I miss a big opportunity to try and do something? It's only if they're going to try and go through the path of trying to succeed and get to some success, not just fail and then say, oh, okay, well then I guess it's not the same. Succeeding and then finding that there's still emptiness there, that's what creates the awakening. Because now you know for sure that's true. And now you have full confidence with proceeding with just in the direction that is actually fruitful.
That's great. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
By the way, I found the rest of Daphne's video. I just posted it in the chat.
Awesome. Hold on. All right, let's look at it. Wait. First of all, I'm gonna download it so I can also. Oh, let me actually put it in proper channels.
I think those ones are just the images. I'm trying to send through Gmail and Discord, but the files are either slow or too big.
Hold on, I'm gonna send you an invite link to Dropbox. So give me 1 second. Wait, but this is what you just sent me is the image of the matrix. This is like a projection.
Yeah, I was just being.
The what?
I was just being. it on VO3. I thought it was gonna be a quicker joke. Sorry, man. I didn't.
Oh, got it. That's funny. That's what I was, that's why I didn't even understand how you found it, but like, I'll just go with the flow. See, that's funny. That's great. And I made all the effort to like put it in a special folder. Well, now it stays there, man.
Yeah, I started getting stressed when you were like talking about Dropbox. I should probably say that.
That's really funny.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll also link the conversation.
Fun sci-fi questions, but I really enjoyed hearing your perspective because it's so cool to hear it from.
I like sci-fi questions.
People that are conditioned in the typical language of like spirituality or whatever.
Why not ask fun Wi-Fi questions? They're fun.
Yeah.
Don't need anything else. I'm happy for what I got. I don't need anything else. There you go. Straight answer, a goal. The formula happiness is a yes, a no, a straight answer, a goal. Yeah. Well, if you really live in this bliss, then I'm all for it. Because that's where it's at. Justin saying, I love the analogy of the rock star. Handing you the mic. Wow. How do we prepare for it? I believe it's the practicing of surrender in every moment, asking oneself, what am I resisting right now? And then course correction. Yeah, that's about it. Like, what am I resisting right now? And by the way, I fail at it all the time. I fail at it a lot less than I used to, which is encouraging. But I fail at it all the time. I think everybody eventually fail at it till the day they die. There's no way around that. It's just you want to fail at less of that. I'm just saying happiness doesn't come with anything material. It comes from having an actual goal. For you, it's not entirely true. Some people really get a kick out of having material things. It's true that ultimately it will never fulfill them, but goals are actually also material. They're part of the material world. Ultimately, if you want to follow it to the extreme, then the Buddha said that you want to detach yourself from everything, including reincarnations and lifetimes and any content, even bliss. That's the kicker. Nirvana is not some kind of a ultimate happiness. Nirvana is the complete detachment from everything, including bliss, including love. These ideas are very uncomfortable to people. Love is still content. So nirvana is technically, according to what it's supposed to be, it's beyond it all. It's outside of all of it.
A good way to practice what you were talking about before, the resistance, is basically recognizing if you want something else than what's happening in the current moment. And as soon as you recognize that, it's easier to go back to remembering that you can't change it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great way to practice.
Yeah. One frame that I always found really useful, and it's along the lines of what you're saying. Again, it probably doesn't originate with him, but like I thought that the way that Eckhart Tolle expressed it was really useful, very easy to remember. He said that if you're outside of these three modalities, which I'll say in a moment, then you are in dukkha. You are lost in thought. You are in the wheel of insanity, right? So either if there's something that any situation that you like find unfavorable, there's only three modalities you can occupy that are healthy, that you're still on the path. One, you remove yourself from the situation. Just remove yourself. If you can't, do something about it. Change it. Without resisting it. Accept for what it is, and then also act accordingly. So don't have resistance towards it. Changing something does not mean you have to resist it. Those are two different modalities. But if you can't remove yourself and you can't change it, the only thing you have left is fully accepting it. Fully. For whatever it is. And if you, in any other modality than these three, you are in the wheel of insanity. You are spinning out of control. I think that's actually very easy to memorize and easy to implement, because you can always ask yourself, am I in one of these three modalities? For the most part, we're not. but it's fun to practice to kind of go down the checklist. Because I think what he uses is like some examples from, you know, when people say, when they use language to curse themselves, right? They say things like, "Oh, I'm broke. Oh, everything is falling apart." You know. So is that true? Well, first of all, of course not. What do you mean? Like, what does that even mean? What do you mean broke? Like, what do you mean in action? Oh, you mean, okay, I have $3 in the bank. Okay. So what does that mean? Why is that a problem? Oh, it's a problem because I need more dollars to buy food, let's say. Okay, well, we're getting somewhere. Okay. So you need more dollars to buy food. Great. How do you get more dollars to buy food? So all of these questions are measurable, actionable. You can do something about it. The second you said I'm broke, everything is falling apart, you cut yourself off from the possibilities of change. And these are simple ones, right? Most people are not in these situations. Some people are, but we do this all the time, even when we're not broke. Like we say things like this all the time about things that are truly are not as dire as what we say they are. But the second we said they are, now the perception is that it's that serious, and now your brain doesn't even produce results of, you know, no ideas come that might actually help you solve the problem. To pay rent. Even reaching nirvana and truth is a part of your will. So well, we're not gonna get, you know, we're never gonna get out of it if we're gonna get into the whole free will conversation again. That's pretty close to my own philosophy. I've always said, if you don't like your reality, do what's within your power to change it. Exactly. And otherwise, just accept it fully. And then there's no pain. Complete detachment includes detachment itself and defaults to total freedom to act as needed at any moment. Beautiful. I like it. All right, guys. I think we'll have to adjourn because it's almost midnight for me, and I gotta go see if my wife needs some help. Dafty, if you find the thing, please. Oh my God! You know what? I'm sorry. I said I'm gonna send you a link. Can you drop your email, Dafty, right here? So I'm gonna send you the invite for the Dropbox. I completely dropped the ball here. It's my fault.
Sure. And then I also got a shortened version of the video that I'm gonna share right now. So I can't find the actual chat for our little conversation.
On the top right, there's a little icon with a text bubble. Click on it. There's a chat on the right. That's where you're placing all the images and everything. And this is where I also put the Dropbox link right now. You can just click on that and then upload the thing there.
I just watched the video with the Matrix thing at the end, and I was like flipping out right now. You like edited that in, right?
It's just I was just trying to be funny quickly, and so you made a whole big deal out of this.
Gotcha.
That was perfect.
I was gonna be like, what the hell?
All of a sudden that happens. I mean, that's wow. Dafty, do you see the Dropbox link?
Yes, and I'm copying that right now.
You can just click on it. It will open it.
Should be going through. So that one's only a short one. It didn't get to show like how it's set up with the mirrors, but I'll get that one there too eventually. And I'm currently like trying to figure out a way to keep it propped so I'm not moving.
Well, the way to do that is a tripod, but
I did have a tripod, but I lost it.
I see, though. It's kind of like it's moving a little bit, right?
Right. That's what I was talking about. Like you can clearly see where it's moving left and right, and like certain spots are being filled, and then it's like moving away, like drifting slowly or something.
Yeah, that is interesting. It definitely wouldn't be on the level of like something, the scales that people postulate with ether and things like this. You're talking about things that are smaller than atoms, so you wouldn't be able to see it like this. But this is interesting. I mean, I would have to see what's happening on the side of the laser, obviously, but
Right. And I kind of figured that it could be from like the light trying to catch up or something, but I don't even know how that works. I haven't looked into
what do you
any
mean by light trying to catch up?
information on that.
What do you mean by light trying to catch up?
So since it's like being reflected so many times, it slows down, and I kind of assume that could be the reason it looks like it's moving.
No, that's what creates speckle. So that what you're describing right now, that's actually what creates a speckle effect, but not this kind of a flowy element. I don't even know why the patchy element, because it's supposed to be pretty evenly distributed. I don't know why there's like a patchy. Well, I guess it's the in between. Yeah.
Well, now that I like kind of got that on there, the only question I had, with the diffractions and the lenses or however that works, last time I asked, you said that the different lasers will have a different diffraction. I was wondering what you meant.
Different wavelengths. Oh, the diffraction lens has to be matched with the wavelength of the light. And by the way, I just turned up the mic a little bit. I just want to see real quick. You tell me if is it breaking up again, or now it's pretty clear on Discord as well.
It's kind of breaking up a little bit.
All right.
It sounded great, and then the last sentence totally.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think it's a there we go. Yeah, it's a 111. There you go. Yeah, it's the Discord thing. So what I meant is every diffracted lens has to be measured exactly for the spacing of the wavelength of the light. So it would be in different fraction of the distances according to the wavelength of the light. It would be cut differently.
And is there a way to like find the wavelengths?
Oh, it's already sold with it. So that the laser is already sold with the right.
What is it?
The laser is already sold with the right diffraction lens. So if you get a green laser with the pattern like this, it's already cut this way. It's already made that way. So nobody's gonna send you a laser with the wrong diffraction lens. If it comes with it.
So I was going to try and testing different lenses with the diffractions or combining them somehow. So I was just unaware of how that worked.
That might actually be a good question for Nico. I know he's not a laser scientist, but he knows more about this stuff. What happens if you try and combine them, Nico? It just kind of becomes like just a random projection, or what happens there?
Combine what? Two different wavelengths?
No, if you take a lens that is designed for a different wavelength, a diffracted lens for a different wavelength, and you try and combine it with, let's say, a diffracted lens made for 650, and then you put one in front of it that is for 540, and put in front of it another one that is for 350. Just to me, it seems like it's just going to create.
Yeah, it's interesting. I need to like kind of think about that more. But I'm not sure what would happen. But it sounds like maybe it wouldn't work if the wavelengths are different. But if it's diffracted already, I don't know. The wavelengths shouldn't change. So
No, but the diffraction lens, and this I got from an actual laser scientist. So the diffracted lenses they do have to be measured for the wavelength. So it can't just be any diffracted lens. So then what you have essentially is that let's say if it would be like a particular fraction of, so like just like you have you can create octaves, right? And just like you can create harmonies, you have probably fractions of the wavelength that might work with one another because maybe it's like a double of, right? Maybe 250 and 500, maybe like something like that. Just because that's just an iteration of one another. Maybe that might work. I'm not sure.
yeah, that's a good point.
Okay. Well, guys, I'm gonna have to jump off. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the time and for sharing. Still share the video if you can. The FT, I would appreciate it. Dropbox, and we can bring it up tomorrow. Thank you so much, Nico, for always coming and sharing your time, brother. And thank you so much, Drasko, for always coming and asking very thoughtful question. I appreciate you. You have a like on. Good to see you here. Ghost, thank you for your comments. Nevertool 8, please come on and chat next time. Thank you so much for incredible moderators, Guru and Ebony and Chris and Jessica. Thank you, guys. If you want to follow me across platforms, it'll be Danny Goller on Instagram and TikTok. It'll be Goller Danny on X. It'll be LaserX83 on Twitch and Dango Thoughts on YouTube. If you guys want, thank you so much, Nomicat. If you guys want to contribute to the film, you can always find the trailer on Dango Thoughts. You can also find it in the link tree in the description on TikTok, and find the GoFundMe page under the trailer and contribute to the film. If you want to check out our website, please go ahead, codeofreality.com. We have our merch, we have the lasers, we have the protocols, and everything else is there. And please come join our beautiful Discord community, the links to which you can find both on the YouTube page, on the main one, and in the link tree in the description on TikTok. Stay tuned. The movie is going to be coming out closer to the end of the year, but the end of the year is right around the corner. So coming right up. You got to chill a tool. And what else? What am I forgetting? Oh, you can join the membership program on YouTube, which helps the channel tremendously, and you'll get access to weekly lives for members only, in which we dive much deeper into particular topics. Give you early access to all my content. If you sign up from the second tier and up, you will get access to my Zoom calls once a month, which I will email people soon. Make sure you email me that you joined if you joined from the second tier and up. And I think that's about it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace and love. I appreciate the community. Thank you so much for the new and the old participants. I really appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for making this a very pleasant place to be in. And with that, I'm going to tell you good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace and love, everyone. Ciao. Have a good night, guys.